Hello everyone, this is Omo, and today we are going to be going over Sonic.exe outcome memories. Obviously, as you can see by the wiki that I'm on, we're going to be going over all of these characters here and how to play as them. And this is mainly due to the fact that in my lobbies, both as Executioner and as a Survivor, I've seen a lot of people that play very interesting ways, let's just put it like that. And I wanted to basically try and buff up the community, so I can give myself a challenge, I can give everyone else a challenge, and also kind of put all this crap to rest of these people that like to sit on a rock and emote the entire time and just let their team die. So, um, we're going to try and establish how the game not should be played, but a very good idea of how to use each character if you really want to rack up rings, you want to make a name for yourself in the community. Because right now, a lot of people are trying to show that they're like the best at a survivor and stuff like that, and like, oh, I'm super good with Knuckles, that sort of thing. Well, yeah, you can't really be super good at Knuckles if you camp on the top tower of not perfect, right? Like, kind of not doing your job. But anyway, we're gonna skip Sonic for right now. I'll do him later. But we got Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, Metal Sonic. We're gonna go in order of when they appeared in the Sonic.exe games. So we're gonna go Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, Amy, Cream. I'll throw in Metal Sonic, then I'll talk about X last. So all my people that keep getting into lobbies with EXE chance turned off for everybody except you, which should be almost everybody on this video. Um, yeah, this will be just skip to here if you really need just that information. But all my people who are super interested in Survivor or have EXE chance disabled, you can just take a look at these right here. So without further ado, let's get into Tails. Now, obviously, we got our little boy Tails here. He's got his 300 IQ, yada yada. Let's see. All right, so our first thing we're going to discuss is Tails. A basic way to play Tails is just a person who really doesn't understand how to play the character and doesn't want like a super long explanation. Tails, you should not be anywhere close to the EXE. You should be sniping them with your cannons in a place they cannot reach. Because right now, 2011X here only has one way to get to you if you're in a good spot, and that's by charging. And charging is like the easiest thing to read on planet Earth. It's easier to read than your basic ABCs because you can hear it, you can see when he's going to go into charge, and your oh shit meter should be skyrocketing through the roof as soon as you see him fly. Like you should not be caught by a charge. You have plenty of time to get away from Sonic. Or this Sonic, not that Sonic. You get the idea. And you should be supporting your team, but you should not be running up to the EXE unless you are trying to get a really quick revive and you have someone else that is distracting you. Because a smart EXE, they see you come down here and they know that your cannon is gone. Oh, you're getting jumped. You're immediately getting jumped. It's not funny. But now let's actually read for the people who want to really know. So Tails has an ability here. This is Animal Sense. Whenever the executioners within 45 studs of Tails, they will be highlighted. This is, if you guys have played Dead by Daylight, this is similar to a lot of abilities that allow people to see the killer. And Tails has that ability. This is mainly because Tails, if he doesn't have his arm cannon, has zero way to defend himself. There's nothing he can do. So this is good. I would definitely use this. This even works on 2011X's cloak, as you can see here. And so this is actually really useful for avoiding the killer. This is actively supporting you getting away from the killer. And I have to say this because I see a lot of Tailses trying to loop the killer, be kind of funny, haha, I can jump around you, but then they get hit one time and they're dead because guess what? They already used their cannon, and it takes 5 seconds to charge that, so then they just get killed, and it's not good. So Then obviously we talked about earlier, we have Tails' glide. It's more like fly, but he calls it glide. When Tails gets into the air, he can use his glide, which allows him to fly around with this little gauge here. He can go up to places that you cannot reach. And yeah, see, it says in an unknown future update, Tails will be able to carry people. Supposedly, this is 0.2. I could be wrong, but as of right now, the most safe thing to assume is this is your ability to get around. This is your mobility. As Tails, this is how you get up to high places, places to snipe from. If the EXE is after you and he's used as charge, you can use this to fly away and really stall and just get the EXE to leave you alone. And this is your ability, laser cannon. This is your main way to actually fight back. This is your only method of defense. He charges cannon for 5 seconds, and after those 5 seconds, you can either cancel this to run away, or you can shoot the EXE with this. And even if you graze the EXE, I have to say, even if your aim is absolute garbage, even if it's absolutely terrible, if you hit the EXE a little bit, they'll be stunned for 6 whole seconds. This is longer than Metal Sonic's stun. This is longer than Knuckles' stun. This is longer than Sonic's stun altogether. So, this is very strong. So, I would definitely recommend, again, your job is to use this to support your team and get away. That is your job. Get away from the EXE. I don't want to see any Tails is trying to loop the EXE like an idiot and then they get hit twice and they're dead and wonder why. This right here, the 5-second charge is like your biggest, this is your biggest enemy right now. So, this also does not bypass the iframes of stun like Sonic and Knuckles do. So if you see a Metal Sonic or a Sonic or a Knuckles, if you see all these guys use their stuns, wait until the EXE can move again. And then what you mainly want to do is if you know that the person that the EXE is going after doesn't have they don't have their cooldown up, like their stun, you should be using this to save them pretty much. Which you should be in a good spot to use this and actually save your teammate. That's mainly what we need to do. Yeah, see, even right here, the wiki agrees with me. But yes, this also slows you down quite heavily. So if you're trying to walk around or like cheese the EXE with this out, you're as slow as a freaking snail. So please don't use this right next to the EXE. I'm not gonna go over last man standing tips because basically, it's with Tails, it's just a lot of running. That's like the biggest thing. I also don't have a lot of footage or info on Tails' last man standing. Because the main thing you do with Tails is just run and then shoot whenever you can. But the cannon still charges for 5 whole seconds, which is plenty of time for the EXE to just murder you if they find you. So, I mean, Tails is good. It's just I don't want to see people running in at them thinking that they can be like Knuckles or Sonic just because they didn't get them on the character select screen, which kind of pisses me off. But that is just me. That is Tails. We're gonna go to Knuckles. All right. I probably just made every EXE leave the video just showing this guy. Knuckles is very strong. He is very good. Basic summary for people who don't really want to sit through this whole video. You should be punching the shit out of the EXE with this. You should be absolutely blasting him with Knuckles. That is Knuckles' whole job. He has 2 ways to stun the EXE. He has his punch, which can also go into a slam, which is an AoE, and also a counter. So that is super, super strong. That's basically it. You should be on the front lines, taking the attention off of your teammates whenever you do have your cooldowns up, when you do have your abilities. And that should be your main priority when you are Knuckles. So, for those who are still here, let's go ahead and go into Knuckles. So, Knuckles has his glide, which is obviously from Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Whenever he jumps into a wall, he can cling onto it, which is similar to Tails' his glide. However, you cannot go up, as there's no way to go up, obviously. And he does glide pretty fast, but he will always descend, and there will be a time where he will drop after a little bit. He will not. Yeah, he'll glide for 4 seconds right here if you need the exact time frame. But basically, Knuckles here, his whole shtick with this is like an easy way to get away from the EXE if you are on a high, like a high point of the map. You just jump on a wall and just go. Just go and get away, and hopefully someone comes behind you and comes to stun the EXE along with you, tries to give you a window to escape. Because once your cooldowns are done, you're fresh meat. You are a fish. You are a fish in the water. There's nothing you can do once you're out of your stuns. But this also he can cling up to three walls in one session. One session, my bad. One setting. So basically, you can also do stuff like on You Can't Run, for example. You can basically do a Mario wall jump. You can kind of cling to one wall, then jump to another wall, then jump to another wall, and then fly away, which is pretty cool. But if you do mess up this little strategy, I'm just gonna tell you right now, you're even more of a fish than you would be without your stuns. So I would be very careful with this tech. I would not just spam it, because when you do spam it, if you do mess it up, you get hard punished because you just come straight down to the EXE. You can't jump because guess what? Your jump's still on cooldown. Your cooldowns are probably gone if you're using this, and yeah, you're just dead, because I don't see why you'd be using this if you still have two different ways to stun the EXE and just bait. Now, here is your best friend here. This is your punch. Your punch, Knuckles will go into his charge, and he'll flash red. This is how the EXE knows. There's also a sound cue that plays. And Knuckles' punch, as you can see right here, his lunge is super quick. It's super fast. And it gets a 5-second stun on base charge. You can buff it up to 6 to 8 seconds whenever it's fully charged, and you can also burn. You can burn the EXE whenever it's charged up, which the burn effect makes them slower for a little bit. Although the problem is that it doesn't make them slower for very long, and it kind of cuts into the time that they are stunned. Yeah, see, most of the time flames extinguish before the stun ends. So while it's cool that, oh, I got the burning effect, he's still not moving, so getting a burning effect doesn't really do too much. But the cool part about this also is that whenever you click on this, whenever you're midair, he'll do his ground slam. The ground slam is very easy to miss, and also nobody frickin' uses it. So not a lot of EXEs knows about this tech. So if you do want to surprise an EXE in a few of your matches once in a while, you can pull out this, and it's actually really cool whenever you can actually do this while you're gliding, as it says right here. I was wondering if I was going to mention it, but yeah. You can do this mid-glide if you're gliding and you see like the EXE like switches targets. You can turn around, come straight back down if your punch is recharged, which is a very rare scenario. You should be using your glide to get out of dangerous situations. So if you're in a dangerous situation for long enough to where this comes back, I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but in the very rare scenario you have your glide and your punch, you can basically be a Superman and just come down with like the Superman landing and save your friend, which also ragdolls, which is pretty nice on maps that allow you to knock the EXE into the absolute abyss, like not perfect. So his punch is his main tool to actually stun, and the main way I would use this is if your EXE is chasing you and you lose sight, you can hide around the corner, get your punch ready where the sound cue is kind of out of reach for the EXE. If you're too close, this won't work. You'll have to you kind of I don't want to say raw dog it, but you'll kind of just have to try and use it whenever you can. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that taking damage while you're charging up, as it says right here, reduces it by a whole 64%. I didn't actually know it was 64%. I just knew you took reduced damage whenever you're charging your punch. So if you really just want to soak up some hits for your team, this is a great way to do that because you're basically guarding. Like you put up a guard, and it's really nice. It's really nice. Punch is one of the more broken abilities in the game for defense and offense. And save me, please, Knuckles Ents. I don't know what you want to call that, but um, yeah, this is your main tool to actually deal with the EXE. And again, the main way I would use this is mainly getting the EXE by surprise, maybe comboing it up with another survivor. But if you're alone, you want to take your opponent by surprise by going around the corner and charging up a punch, and maybe throwing out a punch here and there while you're dodging. So you show that you're dodging, make it look like, oh, he doesn't have his punch, wham, pulls out the punch, kind of a thing, right? Which sometimes may work, sometimes may not work, but I do know that when the EXE sees this, they are very scared. The punch, when you have your punch, you are very scary. But when you do not have your punch, you're very cute and adorable and very easy to murder. So, but that's okay because since you don't have a punch, here's a counter. Your counter is your other tool to actually avoid damage. So whenever Knuckles uses this counter, he'll slow down a lot and he'll get, I'll see if you can see it right here. Yeah, he gets his white aura right here. If this white aura it starts, the EXE knows that you're in your counter. However, we're going to talk about another character who can do this in a minute. If you know that your EXE is kind of a spammer, is really spamming their click or their right trigger, depending on what what device they're on. If they're spamming their attack, you can kind of bait them into attacking you and use your counter to get them off you, which is a really good ragdoll stun, and you can really easily get away right after using this. This is really, really easy to use if you know how to use it right. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of players that will use this either before punch or after, and they will miss it because they just sit right in front of the EXE because they're scared. And majority of Knuckles I see will use this immediately, scared if the EXE is going to hit or not. What you really need to do is analyze how spammy is the executioner you're playing against. If they're super spammy and trying to click on you and murder you, you want to have your counter ready to hit them when they least expect it. That's what you mainly want to be doing. If you just press your counter, every EXE nowadays knows what this is. If they see this out, they're not going to hit you. And guess what happens if you don't hit your counter? You are a fish. You are a fish if you do not hit this. And I'm guessing if you use this, you've used your punch. And if you've used both of these, your glide is your only method of getting out of danger. And then you have to try and bait the EXE for 20-ish seconds and not die or take damage. Because if you take damage, depending on what damage you're at, if you're at, like, I think it's less than 20 HP. If you're less than 20 HP, you're in danger because then the EXE can charge. You have no way to get away from his charge. Because if you glide, he can just catch you because it's a very linear pattern. If you have no glide, you're actually worse off, but you do have a jump, so you can maybe bait him. But if you do take a hit, and you don't have these, you are in a lot of trouble. So you need to manage how you use your punch and your counter, and which one you use first in which scenario. Yeah, you can also use counter to kind of take hits for your team. Instead of just sacking off more of your health, you can just jump in front of a hit if, again, you know that your executioner is going to be going for hits. There's no reason they shouldn't be. You can jump in front of them, press your counter, and basically ruin their entire day. Maybe make them rage quit. I don't know. That would make me rage quit if I saw that. But that is a very real strategy because there's someone else who does that same thing, and we'll get to him in a minute. But that's the basic way you play Knuckles. You should be, in summary, you should be coming to jump the EXE because you have two ways to stun him. And you actually have three. You have this, and you have your slam. And then you have a way to get out of there. If you have a budget Tails glide to get out, which is really, really nice. So Knuckles is very good. You're going to see Knuckles a lot in your games, and if you don't see a Knuckles, play Knuckles. Knuckles is great. I guess another thing I should say is if I see a Knuckles that is sitting in the corner waiting for something to happen, you're not playing Knuckles right. You're just not doing it, because Knuckles is the strongest character, I'm going to say one of, because everybody is relative in this game. When it comes to usability, except for you. We'll get to you in a little bit. Everybody's relative to usability, like how to use them, because of the fact that this is here, but if you don't have these, you're a fish. If Tails doesn't have his cannon, he's also a fish. If Sonic doesn't have any way to get out, and he doesn't have any dodge, he's a fish. Everybody can be a fish in just one or two mistakes. So I think everybody's pretty relative in strength, which is good. But Knuckles' whole shtick is getting up in the EXE's face and making their life a living hell. And if you're not doing that and you're watching your teammates take damage, that's a problem. It's a really big problem. So let's not do that. But that is Knuckles. We're going to move on to Eggman. Alright, Eggman, Robotnik, Dr. Ivo, Eggman, Robotnik. This is the man with the master plan, as everybody likes to say in the Discord, and just overall in the game, and also just in his songs. He is that guy. Eggman, for those who don't want to sit here for 20 years, his whole shtick is to not die. He has a shield to bait out a spammy EXE's hits, or just get an easy stun to run away. And he has a jetpack boost that allows him to run, or super, super fast. Not as fast as Sonic's peel out, but we'll get to that in a minute. And he also has a double jump that allows him to get some aerial mobility like Tails and Knuckles can. So there's really nothing that this guy does that there's not a whole lot that he can do in terms of helping the team. His whole thing is to live. That's his whole shtick. So, for those that are still here wanting to really know more about Eggman, we're going to go over stuff about Eggman. So, I've seen... Okay, so now we bring this Metal Sonic support. I didn't go over this earlier because I was going to save it for Metal Sonic, but I'm going to do an exception here for Eggman, since he has literally nothing else going for him. His double jump right here, as you can see, here's his double jump, and his support for Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic has an ability, for those who do not know, he has an ability to heal himself. Where is it? There we go. His self-repair allows him to heal himself, which we'll get to why that's important. And Tails and Eggman both make him heal much faster, which is very good. So this is one of your other few uses as Eggman to your team, is if there is a Metal Sonic, if and only if there is a Metal Sonic, you should be trying to find him. And if you can't find him, if you have a way to contact Tails, or pray to Jesus that Tails, that Tails finds Metal Sonic, because Tails can do the same thing that you can, but just slightly worse. But yeah, that's like your only other use as Eggman is standing next to Metal Sonic as he heals and basically protecting your child. You're protecting your child as this guy. But let's go over this. Jetpack boost obviously just gives her super long speed boost. Yeah, I need to preface this. People think that spinning in a circle and using this gives them iframes so they can taunt the EXE and then they just get downed. Don't do that. Okay? You just run. Please just run with this. That's what it's for. This is literally to get you out of danger as Eggman, because again, you have zero way. You have zero way to fight back against the EXE. You have this, and you have this. This does not count. This is not you directly attacking the EXE. You can fumble this and be a fish. You are a fish half the time as Eggman. So this is your get out of jail free card. You should be using this as one. You should not be using this as a way to be toxic to the EXE, because if you screw up, which a lot of people do in this game when you're toxic, I don't know what it is. Maybe Karma really likes this game. I don't know why. But if you're toxic with this and you get hit 9 out of 10 times, you're probably going to die. But big thing is you can jump and double jump during this, so you can get a lot of distance if you really know where you're going and you have good map knowledge. And of course, here's your energy shield. This is basically a Knuckles counter, but it lasts 20 years. Actually, I'm gonna actually fact check that. Let me see. For a brief period. Oh, it's 3 seconds. Okay, it's the exact same. 3 seconds. Yeah, it's the literal exact same as Knuckles' counter, except Knuckles doesn't go super slow whenever he has this up. No, Knuckles does. Eggman does not. I'm sorry, I misspoke. And if he gets the hit with the shield, it stuns the EXE for 2 seconds or 5 seconds. The last one alive. Yeah, this. We'll go over this man's last man standing specifically for a minute after this. But basically, this is your, if you see a spammy EXE or an EXE thinks that they can get the drop on you and you know they're coming, this right here is your way to basically get out of that really sticky situation with if you don't have this or you just don't want to use your jetpack. And I wish I could say more, but that's really all there is to Eggman. And this right, where is it at? Hold on. Yeah, there we go. This right here. 5-second stun if he's the last one alive. This is really strong, and like the only reason I'm going to talk about last man standing for this guy, because for Knuckles it's the same. When you're last man standing, it's the same. You're just kind of fighting the EXE. That's kind of like your whole shtick. Fighting and running. Tails, it's fighting and running. Well, not really fighting, because you're not fighting with the 5-second charge up. Eggman, Eggman, you could just sprint away, and you can sprint away and bait out the EXE with your energy shield. And it makes the last man standing phase with Eggman just a whole wild goose chase. You probably know where Eggman is as the EXE, but you just can't do anything about it because a smart Eggman will know how to manage this very well. I'm telling this for my Eggman mains, by the way, who want their master plan. The master plan, you guys want to know what the master plan is? Bait out hits with this, run away. And if you don't have either of these, you better be good at weaving. That's like your only other saving grace. You have this and your double jump. That's your strategy for last man standing. You are trying to run away. Run away and get the EXE. When the EXE makes a mistake, you punish it. That's what you want to do. That's your main shtick. But other than that, that's like the basic way to play Eggman. You don't have a way to fight back directly. Your whole job is to keep this man alive and stay alive yourself. That is your whole job for the team. That is it. Now let's go to, like I said, we're going to go in order. So we're going to go with, actually, Let me fix this, actually. Go to... There we go. Alright, Amy. Amy is an interesting character. I'd say she's on the most complex list right now because she has this mechanic right here is why a lot of people hate going against this character. So, long story short, if you don't know how to play Amy and really want to know her, and you don't want to listen to a super long explanation, hit people with hammer and snipe people with hammer. Like, you mainly want to throw this after you've used your hammer ability first, because if you don't have your hammer, you can't use your hammer throw, and your hammer throw, not your hammer throw, your hammer swing, and your hammer swing can be used for mobility for a jump, or it can be used for a good stun, just a really easy stun. And I don't know if she still gets iframes. I'm actually going to check. Does she get iframes? It doesn't tell me. In the comments, you can tell me she gets iframes, but I don't know on her hammer. But at the very least, when you use her hammer ability, it makes her get a slight speed boost. So overall, you want to use your hammer as either a get out of jail free card or a get off me tool, pretty much. And we'll go over that in a minute. But basically, yeah. And for cards, really basic cards. This is really good. This gets you extra speed and damage resistance, and you have an AoE heal. This is one of these strong. This is super strong, stupidly strong, stupidly strong. But yeah, those are your basic cards if you don't really want to read through this. But for those who do or are just morbidly curious, we're gonna keep going with Amy. Amy is a stunner, obviously, with her giant hammer here, like dear lord. But she's very versatile. This is mainly because of this passive right here, which we're gonna go into detail about. When you start a match, you roll two of these. You roll two of these cards, and they can be of these right here. You have the world, which all survivors and executioners are highlighted in your vision. However, this decreases your speed by 2. This right here kills the card. Because what's the use of... The only use that you have in this is you can tell your teammates where the EXE is, but with characters like Knuckles, Sonic, Metal Sonic, and not you, but maybe you. If Eggman is nearby Metal Sonic, he'll be here too. This is useless because 9 out of 10 times they're going to be where the EXE is because they're trying to find him. They're trying to find him and really put the pressure on and try to take the attention away from the rest of their team. So this is a very situational slash really bad card. So I would not, if you see this, I would re-roll as soon as possible. The Fool will increase your speed by 1.5, but your stun timer goes down. This one is slightly less bad as your main job isn't as a stunner. Your main job is to mainly... You stun when you can, but this acts as a mobility tool and a stun, but the stun doesn't stack onto stuns like Metal, Knuckles, and Sonic. If you see this guy, and this guy here, you shouldn't be prioritizing stunning as much. Not nearly as much, but it is a very useful tool in your tool belt. So you are making yourself slightly more vulnerable if you don't have this up, because you only stun them for 2 seconds, and you have 3-second stun by default, and 2 seconds is not a lot of time to really get away from the EXE if you do decide to go for that stun. The strength card, you now stun them for 5 seconds, but you receive 10% more damage and a speed reduction of 3. I didn't know the exact numbers, if it sounds like I'm surprised, but I do know what these cards basically do. This right here, this makes you very easy to murder. Like, if you miss this, right? You're already you're already in trouble because now you take 10% more damage and you're vulnerable. If you throw this and also miss, now you're just dead because you now have a three. I think it's three in like Roblox terms. So your speed, I think default speed is what, 30, something like that, and it goes down to 27. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but this goes down by three, and you receive 10% more damage. So you are hoping that your EXE has super bad ping and just cannot hit you, or I think it may be super good ping. I don't know. You're just hoping they don't hit you because if they hit you, there's not a lot you can do about it. And yeah, this just asks you to die basically. These two cards right here are kind of murdering you. This is the best one so far, but this one right here, the Emperor, provides Amy with a extra 0.5 speed boost and 15% damage resistance. This is really good. This is very, very good. The speed boost is good, and the 15% damage resistance is very good, and there's no drawback. Obviously, the speed boost isn't as high as the Fool, but unlike the Fool, you can still get your full 3-second stun, and you take 15% less damage. There is literally no downside to getting this card. So if you see this card, I would definitely hang on to it if you can. And then here's the Sun. This is the ability that makes or breaks Amy in terms of your game. If you see this right here, um, if you see this pop up, you're basically set. Unless you have one of these, in which case you ideally want the Sun and the Emperor as your combination, because this gives you a AoE heal, so it heals you, unlike Cream's heal. We'll get to that in a little bit. And also, exception to Metal Sonic, because he's metal, we can't heal him. All the way up to 75 HP. You have a max of 100 HP. So, passively standing next to Amy, if you find her, or if you find a survivor, will actually heal you. You heal 1 HP every 2 seconds, so if, say, you got a few stunners, you got Knuckles fighting the good fight, and then you got Sonic coming in, or maybe Metal Sonic's out there, your teammates that maybe took a few hits, they can come stand next to you and get healed. If Cream is either not in the game or dead or why ever Cream isn't healing, Amy can do that job, and not as well, mind you, but it is definitely something to consider when using this character, that you do become a healer, which is very nice. And it says survivors around Amy will slowly be blinded. However, the blindness goes away if they move far enough away. Yes, this right here, this is just if the Amy has comms, and also if you have eyes. Like, if you know the EXE is coming, if you hear the terror radius, that's what I'm going to call it. If you hear the terror radius / the music of the EXE coming, I would definitely start running. So you just have to be very attentive when you're getting your heal. But if not, if like, I don't think it's really that bad of blindness, so I don't really see an issue. But if you really, like, if it's really hurting your eyes whenever the screen gets brighter, then just be really attentive with the rest of your senses. And yeah, the Sun is probably her best card next to this. For self-survival, it's this, but for everything else, like, for literally just your best combination, I'm just going to say right now, it's the Sun and the Emperor. If you get this, you're set for the game. And the Moon significantly reduces Amy's visibility through close environmental fog. Okay, this... Interesting. So basically, I think what this is saying, I have not seen anyone give a shit about the Moon as soon as they saw the Sun and the Emperor. But basically what this is saying is whenever you are invisible through, not invisible, but whenever you are in fog, your speed goes down and your damage resistance goes down. But when you are out of fog, you have more speed and more damage resistance because you're spotted, like you can be seen. So if you hide poorly, you get hit. But if you hide well, not hide well, if you are found If you are found and there's not fog, then um, this portion right here activates, and it's pretty nice. But yeah, no, the moon, it doesn't. If the moon can get you murdered because this mechanic is very odd, and if you do get hit, I don't know what else to tell you because this mechanic, I don't see anybody using it because I don't think it works the way it's supposed to. Because it says environmental fog. There's not a whole ton. There's some maps without environmental fog at all, so um, yeah, that's just use the sun and the emperor. Bottom line. Obviously, there's your hammer. This is a much less complicated ability than this. You just go into your attack stance and you run a bit faster. Yeah, you do run a little bit faster, not too much. But basically, this is your own little stun. This is your get off me tool. Besides all of this, this is your tool to keep yourself alive. And you'll stun them by 3 seconds for default, or if you have the full, it's 2 seconds. That kind of thing. And if you use it mid-air, you can get your little bounce. You can get a bounce on the floor, which gives you aerial mobility, which, as you can see, aerial mobility is a theme here, because getting to places that X can't is very important, because the only way that he can reach you through some maps, not all maps, but some maps, is by using his charge to fly at you. So you do want to remember that. And also her bounce, I forgot to mention. I don't see a lot of people doing this, but her bounce, if she comes into contact with an EXE before, will actually stun. It will stun kinda. It will stun kinda like Knuckles' slam, in a way. Whenever you come down on an EXE, and you still get the bounce anyway. So you can kind of hit them mid-air and then run away. Not really run away, bounce away, but you know what I mean. But yeah, this is a mixture of a mobility tool and a get off me tool. It's a much weaker version of Knuckles' punch. And then there's this. This, honestly, I'm not sure how to feel about this ability. I haven't seen it used well since I've played this game. I've seen people online use this very well, so I'm kind of speaking from a very interesting perspective here. But you can chuck your hammer at people. This is very easy to miss, I think. I haven't seen somebody land this solidly, like, often. So I would use your hammer throw very sparingly. But when you throw your hammer, you are a little slow. You are a little slow whenever you're charging it up, kind of like Tails' arm cannon. But if it makes contact with them, it stuns them for the same amount of time. It stuns the execution at the same amount of time your hammer swing would do. But your problem is for 8 seconds, like it says, you don't have your hammer at all. You have no way to defend yourself, and if you didn't use this before you use this, for whatever reason, like while this is still ready to go, should not happen. You should not happen unless you have like 3 stunners next to you. There's no way in hell you should be throwing this before you swing, because that's just dumb. I'm not sure how you do that. But if you do see the hammer on the ground, like, oh, I still got to pick it up, don't. It comes back to you like Mjolnir, like to Thor. It's kind of ridiculous. So all you really got to do is dodge for a little bit, then you get the hammer back, and you can go for the throw if you didn't, not the throw, the swing, if you didn't already. But if you already did, it should be, if you do throw, it should be like 15 to 10, like 10 to 15 seconds of cooldown left in an ideal situation after using this and getting your hammer back. So you can kind of loop the killer with this, but if not, again, this is a very risky move to pull off. I think I've been hit with this maybe twice in my entire time playing this game. And I played a lot of this game. I've grinded out a lot of hours on outcome memories. I do really like the game, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the amount of times I've been hit with a throw hammer, I could probably count on one hand. Like it's 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 not a move that's super reliable. It should be used as a last resort, and if you know you can hit the shot, 100%. But then obviously you have your reroll, and yeah, let me see. Amy like Knuckles. I'm actually curious. I don't know what they said. Stick close to survive. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could stick close to survivors. It's a good idea because you can stun, but you should not be the guy to make the first swing. Um, because if you miss versus if Knuckles misses, Knuckles has his counter, which is very easy to bait out if the EXE thinks he's got an advantage. If you throw this, not only can you very easily miss, if you miss versus him missing, if he misses, you're basically in the same boat. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. But you have the sun with you ideally. And if you lose your ability to heal people versus if Knuckles dies, Knuckles is basically a meat shield. I'm sorry, my Knuckles mains. You are meant to take damage. You are meant to take damage. You are meant to get hit. You are meant to take the brunt. If Amy dies, you lose a healer. So you should not be on the direct front lines, but you should be up there. If you see an opportunity to get a good hit in, you should be getting your hit. If not, don't worry about it too much. But definitely do use your stuns very well unless you have this. If you have the Fool, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're actually gonna freaking lose distance at this point. You're actually gonna lose distance. Even I don't care if it says 1.5. You're basically wasting your time if you have a 2-second stun. And same thing with this. I would just re-roll this and pray to the Lord that X doesn't find you or whatever EXE it is in whatever scenario, because this is very devastating. Take a hit in this point. But yeah, basic summary of Amy. You can stun. You're kind of like a lesser version of Knuckles with a way to absolutely ruin yourself if you throw this and it misses, or you throw this and you don't use your hammer throw. Not your hammer throw. Your hammer swing beforehand. And you can heal people. Healing is good. Get this card. If you don't have this card, you're doing something wrong. It's just bottom line. But speaking of healing, we're going to go with the person that actually is supposed to be healing the team, and that is Cream. Now, for people who don't really want to sit here through this whole summary and analysis, Cream has 0 way to damage people. He has 0... He. My bad. We learned the real gender. She... My bad, guys. She, has 0 way to stun X in any way, shape, or form. 0 way. Her dash does not stun. I'll even fact check it for you. Where's it at? It's right here. Yeah, does not. This does not stun X at all. You do not have a way to defend yourself whatsoever. You are not meant to be close to the executioner in any circumstance. Ideally, you are in comms with a group of friends or the people in the game, and you are telling them where you are. That is what your job is. If you are close to X, you are asking to die, because you make yourself a threat to the executioner because you can heal people. And you can always heal people. Unlike Amy, who is a conditional heal, Cream always can. Cream will always be able to heal. So if you are close to the executioner, you're going to get targeted. You are going to die. If someone says targeter in the comments or in the games, guess what? That Cream made a mistake. That Cream has got to go 100%. Because the Cream is the biggest threat, so your job as a Cream is to run. You are to run and to hide. That is your job. Run, hide, and heal the stunners. Stay close to the stunners. as well if you see one and there's not anything going on. But for those who are really staying, let's go ahead and go over her abilities. Now, we have Cheese. Cheese makes you more OP than you already are, because Cheese will allow you to heal 2 times faster. And unfortunately, on her first life, after you lose 30 HP, Cheese will die. When Cheese dies, you lose this 2 times buff to your healing, which takes a lot longer to heal your teammates. So again, this supports the analysis of do not get hit, do not get close to the executioner. If you are, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. You should not be anywhere near them unless there's a stunner around who has their abilities. If they don't have their abilities, they're a fish, and you're already cooked. You're a cooked fish. You're a fillet. You're worse than a fish. But then you have your dodge, which honestly I don't see enough creams get to their last man standing. Uh, not recently. I've seen a lot of clips. I've seen a lot of clips of creams getting to their last man standing. So before somebody comes and shoots me in the comments, yes, I have seen this happen, but I have to preface that a lot of creams don't make it to the end because they think they can sit on a crevice, like a crevice somewhere in the corner, and emote on the EXE, and then realize, oh shit, I have no way to defend myself. I missed my glide. Maybe I tried my glide and I got grabbed midair through a charge. It um yeah, most creams are toxic a lot of the time. I'm not saying all creams. Let me get that out of the way. Not all creams, but a lot of creams like to be really funny and either not the other team or just sit there and just be memey, but they get murdered because of that. So, again, this supports the the thing I prefaced earlier of just staying away from the EXE. Your dodge here, anyway, is your second passive, which is only activated when you're the last man standing, which doesn't happen a lot, but if you get there, if your move is countered by Knuckles. So basically everything X can do to hit you, I think unless God's Trickery, yeah, God's Trickery. God's Trickery if it's the real Sonic, but then again, on maps, not on maps, but on Last Man Standing, it's guaranteed that it's going to be X anyway that's coming up behind you. Whenever Colossus and Tripwire come out, we'll see. But your dodge is going to be basically your Sonic dodge meter for you, but we'll get to that in a minute. You can take 3 hits without taking any damage, and after that, it's fair game. Because Cream does not have any way to comfortably defend herself. This was put in, and I think it's good. I think it's a good idea. But you should be avoiding hits anyway. I would not rely on this to save yourself during a last man standing. It's basically telling you got 3 hits before just screw all, you're dead. Your glide is a more OP version of Knuckles' glide. If you jump high enough in the air, you'll begin to glide across, as you can see in this is actually her ideal map to use this too, where you can just kind of jump and glide across, not perfect. Your falling speed, 80%. 80% is a lot, wow. This is basically Tails' glide, Knuckles' glide, except there's no energy bar. Pretty much. Except you cannot fly up like Tails' glide. Unlike Tails' glide, my bad. But there is no energy bar, as you can see right here, and as you can see here, there's nothing that pops up. So you can glide until you touch the ground, which is super, super, super good. Super, super good. Like, this is probably your best get-out-of-jail-free card on places that you can't actually use it. Like X's Castle, there's a few ways that you can jump off of fences and just glide across a room into a hallway and make a run for it. But on Not Perfect, obviously, where it's really open and it's really easy to glide away from any danger. If you see an EXE coming onto this tower, like when they're about to hit the spring and you jump, there's literally nothing they can do except charge after you. And if they've already used their charge, or you know they have, they cannot catch you. They straight up cannot catch you. Because then they have to jump. I think I can actually visualize it here. I don't know if you see my mouse. But then they have to jump down here. They have to jump down again to catch you if you're trying to fly over to this this little ramp here. They have to do so much work just to get to you. And then as soon as you hit this other spring right here, you can jump again and do it again. So you can loop the EXE very easy, depending on the map, which most of the time not perfect is the preferred map. That's actually why in the Discord it wasn't, if you guys know, you know, this map was not going to be disabled for version 0.2 before its rework, because this is the only map that Cream can do this and actually have a chance at doing something against the EXE. Because every other map, Cream is almost every time a fish to a lot of people. So, moving on here. This is her main ability, healing. Let me actually see. I actually don't know how much it is per, because, yeah. Okay, 10 if Cheese is alive. Yeah. So this ability is your main way of supporting your team. If your team knows where you are, they may run up to you. If they aren't in comms, they're going to obviously text you to heal. If you are, obviously that's just depending on the person that's in your lobby, like in your party. And yeah, that's basically what it is. You mainly want to stay out of range of the EXE whenever you use this, because playing as EXE, I can say, I can hear you through the walls. People can hear this go on through the walls and follow you. And if you're too close, if you know you're too close, you should try to get a small heal and then run, because you are very vulnerable with this, because you have to wind back up to your running speed after you cancel this. And it is very, very scary whenever you get caught doing your healing and all your teammates are right here, because then, oh, guess what? The EXE knows where half the team is half the time. And if there's somebody that they want here to take out, like most likely you, if you're playing Cream, they found you and now they can actually target you and take you out. So, very dangerous. Any ability that keeps you in place is very risky, but also very rewarding. Obviously, you're healing your team. But another thing I want to preface, if you see a Metal Sonic walk up, do not heal them, or at least tell them that you cannot heal them. If they're expecting heals, of course. I don't know if they actually are, but there's a lot of metals that think they can get healed by this. It's more common than you think. Do not get it twisted. You cannot get healed as Metal Sonic, and you cannot heal a Metal Sonic, so do not waste your heal doing that, because you do have a cooldown, and if you do find somebody who needs healing after this little interaction, it's going to be a real awkward 10-ish seconds of you sitting there and staring at the survivor that needs a heal, and you just can't do it, because you tried to on this metal who thought they could get healed. And whenever you're last man standing, this actually starts to heal you, which can also overheal you. But obviously, it's the same gimmick. You're standing really still. If the EXE hears you or sees you healing, it's probably wraps. But if, yeah, also heal can be used mid-air. I'm not sure why it can be used mid-air, but I don't know. Let's just move on. Then she has her dash. This is her main way of doing anything to the EXE. Obviously, you can see, I don't know if it's just because it's a dummy, but I'm going to tell you during gameplay, your little dash does not do anything to the EXE. It's literally, you bounce off of them, get a speed boost, and run the other direction. That is what you do. Yeah, back to 5 stuns. Cream will take 2 damage. You take damage. Okay, that's new. I didn't know that. You take damage during this, so it's very minimal, but do note that you do take damage. You don't stun the executioner when you do this. And, I don't know. You can hit survivors with this too, but I mean, using the knockback of a dash can maybe save a survivor at some point, but it's not often. Mainly, you can use your dash to basically, if you know the executioner has their abilities down and they already they already missed a hit, for example, it's very safe to go for a dash to get some distance on them. But if you know they have the ability to hit you again, I would not dash into them because they will be looking for that dash into them. Although the amount of people that are going to be able to hit this is going to be really minimal. Um, so use this sparingly, but if you really need a boost and you see an opening to use your dash into the EXE, or in the very rare instance you're going to hit your fellow survivor with this to save them, uh, please do that. That could be very, very good. You can also cancel out. It will not break 2011 Access grab when a player is hit by charge. Um, Last I checked, it did do this. Um, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I've never seen it used on somebody with getting hit by charge, but it has happened before that I've seen people get broken by this. So I'm very unsure by this, but I'm gonna stick by what this says. If you see someone grab by charge, there's not much you can do. If you're grabbed by charge, obviously there's not much you can do, but um, you can probably you can hit X to get away if you know that the player in here is about to get out of charge, like get out of the grab. You can probably hit X with a dash and get out of that situation because obviously you don't have really a way to get out of that situation otherwise. But that is Cream. Basic summary. Stay the ever-loving hell away from the EXE at all times, if you can help it. If you can't and you're caught, you're probably going to get targeted because you're a threat. And use your dash wisely to get out of that situation, and use your glide to get out of that situation. Oh, and heal your teammates. Please heal your teammates. I've seen so many creams that just don't heal their teammates. It's really annoying. But that is Cream. Metal Sonic. This is your main guy. This is your main guy for stunning. I say this despite Knuckles' existence, but why? Long story short, this guy has a charge that stuns the EXE for 5 seconds. He can heal himself, and this same charge can get him out of situations that he doesn't want to be in just as well as getting him into them. So, your main idea with this guy is to stall time because your stun lasts a very long time. If your EXE that you're going against tries to come after you for whatever reason, you can stall them out a while with them trying to dodge your charge because your charge lasts a very long time. So stalling for time and being able to stun them is a very powerful combination. And plus, he's Metal Sonic. We love Metal Sonic, right? But um, if you want a more detailed guide, here we go. Yes, this is very good. We're going to go over this. So Metal Sonic, when he dies, he has a self-destruct that will stun for the same duration as his destructive charge right here. Which basically you cannot avoid this or negate this at all. I'm reading this as y'all are reading this. I didn't know this could go past iframes, but there is nothing in the game that can get X out of this. He will get hit by this every single time, which basically gives the rest of the survivors a chance to regroup and rethink their strategy whenever Metal goes down. That is their thing. Yeah, and also, for anybody who doesn't know, Metal Sonic only has one life. If he does get downed, he is dead. He is dead, done, out of the game immediately. That is why he has 100 and 175 HP by default. That is why. He also has a proximity warning, which is kind of an auditory version of Tails' animal sense, where if an EXE gets within a certain distance, he begins to beep, and when the beeping stops, you are either right next to the executioner or he's not near you at all. So if it gets super, super fast and then stops, you are right next to him. Uh, this is also client-sided, which means nobody else will hear it. Yes, that is true. You will not. You are the only person that will know when the EXE is near you. Um, with this ability specifically, and another thing that makes Metal Sonic really strong is he has 50% damage resistance, which is super, super good. He also gets extra last man standing resistance like everybody else does, but which makes it go to 75% damage reduction, which is a lot of HP for this little guy here who can stun you and run away from you. You being the EXE. This is just very strong in general. This makes Metal Sonic a very good time waster. He can take a lot of hits, he can stun, he can run away. But how can he run away, you may ask? Well, this right here. If you have played EXE, when you hear this thing charge up, you get war flashbacks, and you get ready to jump like you're in the Olympics. This guy, he'll charge up for about a second and completely fly at Mach 20. I think it says like Sonic's peel out. I don't know if it's exactly as fast, but basically, whenever he is in his charge, you want to charge after the EXE ideally, and because when you do get the EXE, you carry him away, and you can also charge him into a wall. And when you charge him into a wall, you get more stun than you usually would, and you get a chance to run a lot better because obviously the EXE is cornered, he loses some mobility, that kind of jazz. But the problem is you do take a lot of damage. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. You stun them for 5 seconds and not just carry them away. Uh, if you don't run into a wall, you're just carrying them away from the team along with yourself, which is the risky part. Because he does not get stunned. He gets stunned for 3 seconds versus the 5 if you hit them into a wall. But obviously, you do have to manage this well because you do take. I thought it was 40, but it's actually 39. You take 39 damage to yourself in total, which is very scary, especially if you've held the EXE for a good little bit, which you can take up to 40 damage here, and then 39. That's 79 damage. How much is that? That puts you a little bit below the threshold of a normal survivor, which is a very scary situation to be in for anybody, because less health is still less health. Let's just be honest here. And your only saving grace with that specifically, like that specific condition, is during last man standing, you get your damage reduced. So it's a lot easier to spam this and, quite frankly, either stun the ever living crap out of the EXE, or just use it to run, quite frankly. But at that point, it's a lot easier to use this to just stun the EXE. However, there is a problem with this. If you do hit a wall without an executioner, you will be stunned for 4 seconds. So you do have to get good with this ability and not be in a space that's super tight with corners or super tight just with your spacing, because if you do hit a wall, if you do hit something, you are stunned, and if the EXE either knows where you are or is just very conveniently around the corner you just hit, you take a hit, and obviously damage is not good, especially when this guy only has one life. But with this one life, you have your self-repair. With your self-repair, you sit and heal 7 HP every 2 seconds, 1 second with Tails, and 3/4 of a second with Eggman, which is really, this is really good. This is your saving grace. The only thing I would say is a problem with Metal Sonic is people, not problem Metal Sonic specifically, but just Metal Sonic players, is they'll run away about 15 feet, go around a corner, try to lose sight, not really make too much of an attempt of losing sight, like making it really confusing. Um, and they just kind of, for lack of a better word, they get themselves murdered. They kind of just kill themselves because in self-repair, you cannot move. You have end lag when you try to come out of the move. And also, let me uh let me see if I can find it here. Yup, he takes full damage. Yeah. If you get hit during this, you take full damage and your healing stops, which you have 50% damage resistance normally. So this is your most vulnerable state. I would be very amiss. I'd be very remiss if I did not mention you have to manage this well. If you go around a corner, just go, haha, he can't see me, and you just went, okay, I don't know if you can see my mouse. If you just go straight and then go right, and the EXE is like right here in this little visual map, he knows where you went, idiot. He knows where you went. He's gonna come around the corner and hit you because he's faster than you, and if you're expecting he's not gonna come after you, which he most guaranteed will if he knows where you are, he's gonna hit you. You're gonna take your whole 42 damage, and that's a lot of damage for Metal Sonic because you don't have a lot of that to spare. But that is basically how that works. You want to use this whenever you are out of sight and out of mind for the EXE or when he's distracted. And whenever you're up to, what is it, heal 150? Yeah, 150. When you're up to 150, yeah, 150 HP, you are basically at whatever. This is going to be your max for a while because you cannot go past it whenever you are at 175 or whenever you are at 150 anyway. So that is your main method of healing yourself or reducing this being so detrimental to your health. And yeah, the basic strategy is go after the killer and make sure you have an Eggman around. If you don't have an Eggman around, manage your self-repairs very well because 7 HP every 2 seconds is a very long time. But if you do have an Eggman or a Tails, if Tails isn't busy, find him. If Eggman isn't running around being an idiot, find him and make sure to get your heals up so you can go back into the fight and use your destructive charge because it is one of the strongest abilities in the game and it's not close. It's straight up not close. I don't know how else to say it. But that is Metal Sonic. Let's move on to actual Sonic. All right. Actual Sonic here is the main face of the franchise that this was all based on. Unless you want to say this guy. This guy could also be. But this guy right here is a lot of people's first choice for a survivor. And I get it. Because a lot of times with Sonic, it is the main guy you want to play as. Because guess what? It's Sonic. Everyone wants to play as Sonic, right? However, I don't know if it's just a thing where people just kind of join the game and expect Sonic to be super good and they just die immediately and just quit. But that's exactly what happens. And it's really sad because Sonic is a very strong survivor if you know how to play him. So people who don't know how to play him, like at least at a basic level, who get him, uh, yeah, no, it's kind of infuriating. But there's also a lot of people who play as Sonic and they just kind of emote in the corner the entire time and do very minimal stuff. Or sometimes they just don't go for you at all, like go for their team whatsoever. But hopefully we're going to remedy that. So, for people who don't know how to play Sonic and just want to know real quick, you have a dodge meter. Your little 50 at the bottom left, that is your dodge meter. That is your best friend. If you have that up, you're good. You are very good to be aggressive. If you do not have any dodge anymore, you want to spin dash into the EXE to get it back. And if you don't have that opportunity or you missed, let's be honest here, um, you really do not want to be in the EXE's face because you do not have any way of defending yourself if you do not have your drop dash, which is how you get your dodge meter back. And you also have your super peel out or just your peel out, which allows you to run super far across the map, but it has a long wind up, so be careful. And you can pick up survivors and also revive survivors super quick by using your peel out on them, like hitting them with it. Except for Eggman because he's fat. I mean, heavy. We love the guy. He's nice and fluffy. And Metal Sonic because he is also heavy. So anyway, uh, Sonic. Let's go over a basic guide. So Sonic is overall very strong. He is a hit run playstyle as this I just saw this. Don't ask. I actually just saw this right here. You're not supposed to be super aggressive with Sonic. You're supposed to be a guy that comes in as like the support. The supportive stunner, let's put it like that. And Sonic has his dodge meter, like I was just mentioning. It gives him an extra 50 HP, but unlike most abilities, not most abilities, unlike normal HP, my bad, if this is like at 2 and you take a hit, uh, all that damage that would have gone to your main health does not. That just takes away your shield right here. This is your best friend to not dying as Sonic. If you do not have your dodge, you should not be making very risky plays as Sonic. If you do have your dodge, you can afford to mess up a little bit or screw around a little bit, but this is something you have to manage and make sure you have at least a little bit of whenever you go into an encounter with the EXE. If you do not have this and you see the EXE, be very passive, run away. Do not attempt to make contact or try to use your drop dash. Just try, do not use your drop dash, but use this. Use your drop dash to actually hit the EXE to get this back. You really want that. But also, your last man standing is very scary because you have guilt. This little mechanic right here. When Sonic is the last man alive, you receive 15% more damage rather than any 15% damage resistance. 50% damage resistance. You have no damage resistance at all. You take 15% more damage. This isn't like, oh, I get the 15 and then I take 15% more damage than everyone else. No. You take 15% more by default. I'm not sure. Yeah, it says 25% more. So getting last man standing as Sonic is a very scary outcome. Name of the game. But we will talk how to play last man standing Sonic for this reason alone. Because obviously this looks really bad. It looks like you don't really want the rest of your teammates to die. But you don't. You don't want your teammates to die as anybody. But on the contrary, if it does happen, we'll talk about how to really play Sonic in Last Man Standing. Your drop dash is your main way of stunning. You jump into the air by default and turn into a little spiky ball, and you gain a lot of speed whenever you do this, and you also gain iframes to most attacks. I think most attacks would count as charge and hits. I'm not exactly sure what can take you out of drop dash. Let me know in the comments if you actually know. But with this, you can stun the EXE, and like I said, get your dodge meter back. You always need the dodge meter. You get 30 dodge if you hit all 3 of these hits, and you stun the EXE for 3 seconds whenever you hit the the EXE. But whenever you just hit one hit, it's 1 second. But anyway, unless he didn't initially stun the execution, it'll be 2 seconds. Yeah, okay, so if you combo this up, it's an extra 2 seconds added onto the stun timer, which is pretty good, but also kind of risky because 2 seconds is not a lot of time to run. And while it says Sonic's speed is above average, you can get caught very quickly by the EXE because, contrary to popular belief, this guy is actually pretty fast. So, this is your main this is your main attack. If this does miss, I would recommend going for 1 hit, then 2 hits. If you miss 2 times, then run. Basically, this attack you should not be attempting super hard to get to hit. You should be attempting it if you can really get the hits so you can get some overshield back. But I see a lot of Sonics that try primarily to get their hits in, but they commit super hard to the point where they get out of this right here. And yeah, no, they're just done because they don't have any dodge because they missed their attacks. Because all the Executioner has to do to dodge this is jump, and you can't do much about it. Because while yes, you can also jump, they can jump higher than you can. Just by a slight amount, especially when Sonic's in drop dash. You will not hit him if he jumps, and no matter if you jump in drop dash anyway. So it's very ideal that you hit this whenever you know you can hit it. If you're 1v1 with the killer and they know they can jump, do not expect this to hit, and you should use this as just a get out of jail free card or get out of danger free card, basically. But yeah, that's his drop dash, and peel out is your way of supporting the team. Your peel out it has a 3 second wind up, but once you have it, you are the fastest thing in the game for 7 seconds, and you can jump during this. I want to preface that because I don't see a lot of killers. Not a killer. I don't see a lot of Sonics doing that, and he can pick up teammates and take them away to wherever you're gonna go, which is a very easy way to save your teammates from danger. And your cooldown actually goes down whenever you carry a teammate. And as well as the fact that if you pick up a teammate that is down, you instantly revive them, and you also just pick them up and take them with you, which again contributes to this and also contributes to the fact that you want to be supporting your team, because if you don't support your team, number one, that gets you into last man standing, which is also very scary with Sonic. But the main thing about peel out is you want to use this whenever the EXE is not close, because if the EXE is close and they see you winding this up or hear the peel out sound effect, they will come straight for you, and you'll either lose all your dodge and you'll take off, or you'll lose your dodge and take some damage and take off, or you'll just die, depending on the scenario here. Using peel out is risky, but if you do get into position and use peel out very well, it is a very easy way to get your teammates out of danger and get yourself out of danger as well. The only issue is do not make your path super linear, as the Executioner can very easily follow you, basically negating all of your progress you gained with peel out in the first place. Because whenever the Executioner does go into invis, they are very fast. Not as fast as Sonic whenever he takes off, mind you, but fast enough to where after you stop running and like get a moment to get your bearings, boom, he's right there. Like he immediately pops out of absolute nowhere and shows up to basically ruin your whole day. So that is peel out, and that is Sonic. And now we're going to talk about Last Man Standing just briefly because of this. Last Man Standing, you do not want to be close to the Executioner. You want to use your abilities to get away. Your dodge meter will come up, obviously, and that will be your main way of avoiding damage and avoiding your death in Last Man Standing. So if you can hit a drop dash, I would definitely be trying to hit your drop dashes to get your overshield back. It again, same thing as normal game. If you think you cannot land a solid drop dash, or you think they're expecting it, be very smart with it and do not spam it, because it will be very easily punished and countered. But if you do manage to hit a drop dash or find an opportunity, you will gain back 30 of this bar right here, and that is going to be your saving grace against any killer in um, any killer during Last Man Standing. If you don't have your drop dash and you don't think the killer is around, winding up your peel out and just running around the map is very easy to do, because the only way that 2011X can even catch up with you is either his invis, which, if he's too close to you, will make him come out and kind of surprise you, which will allow you to actually see him and run, or he'll come the other direction that you're going. Like, if you're running forward, he'll come towards you so he can avoid, well, not, he'll come towards you from a distance away to avoid the little stun that he gets from coming too close. But that's the main thing you want to do with Sonic's peel out, is use it as a you want to use it as a way to get around the map and get away from the executioner in Last Man. And the only problem is, if you get found without this and you already used both of these, you're dead. You're just dead. Like, there's nothing much you can do there except for just dodge. And if you can't dodge or you get caught by charge, you're in trouble. You're basically in full whole ass trouble. There's not much you can do about it. And yeah, that is Sonic. The main summary, I would say, from all of that. The main takeaway is Sonic, if he has his drop dash, you want to hit people after you want to hit the EXE, my bad, after they've been hit at least a few times, or at least one time. If Knuckles comes in with a punch, you come in with a drop dash, that kind of thing. And make sure you always keep a little bit of your overhealth right here up. So if you do get put into a sticky situation, you can dodge and take a little bit of damage without actually losing anything, because that is very important. We always want our health. We always want to support our team. And if you do have an opportunity to use peel out to get somebody out of a sticky situation, use it. 100% use it. Because peel out is very strong, and the killer has two ways to catch you. And both of those ways are very useful ways to get to other survivors. So yeah, that is Sonic. Do not emote in the freaking corner, please, because that is not contributing almost anything. You always want to be on standby, ready to go in case something goes wrong. And now for my people who play a lot of killer, or people who just want to know how 2011X works. 2011X is the main killer of the game right now. He's going to have a few friends that show up later, but he is the only killer you can currently play as. This is actually not what he looks like in here. No. Where's the old one? Here we go. This guy. This is what he looks like right now. 2011, or just X, is your killer. He is your main guy. If you want a basic summary of how to use him, God's Trickery if you're in a novice lobby. If you're not in a lobby that's bad at the game, don't use God's Trickery. Charge should be used to finish off survivors primarily, and to get to Tailses that think they're funny. And if you have any problems finding survivors or catching people that are getting away, you want to use your invis to catch up to them and teleport back into existence a little ways off of their actual position, so you don't have to do your little animation of trying to spook them. You just come out of cloak and run straight after them, which is really, really good. Oh, and after you get stunned, make sure to use your rage mode. Uh, Make sure to just use your rage mode in general. Don't skip out on using your rage mode because your rage mode is very strong and can win you the game in some cases. But moving on, if you guys really want to know how to use 2011X, we are going to go ahead and go into that. But 2011X's short temper is his passive, and on the left of the screen, there is a temper bar that is only visible to himself. And basically, this rage bar goes up, and as it goes up, you will reach eventually a part where this ability, where is it? Where is it at? There you go. This ability will activate, not activate, but be able to be used, and will allow you to go into a rage mode, which we'll talk about in a minute. This can only be used once, and yeah, whenever it gets a substantial fill, a small clip of his rage mode theme plays. This right here is your main way of dealing with survivors if you cannot deal with them otherwise. Your basic attack does 42 damage, or 50 whenever you're enraged, and your main ability to get around the map is invisibility, where you'll become invisible and invulnerable to all attacks, which can be used as a dodge for things such as Tails' arm cannon, Knuckles' punch, Amy's hammer, Metal Sonic's charge, Sonic's drop dash. All of this stuff you can dodge with invisibility. You can bait, you can bait out all of that and go invis, and it doesn't work, which is pretty good. But you want to mainly use this to get around the map. If you cannot find somebody and you see, if you not can't find somebody, if you cannot get to someone and you get close to them, there will be, yeah, this right here. Press a key responding to the player's character. There will be a little icon that appears on the bottom left right here, like the bottom left of your screen, that'll say the character and then their username, and you will be able to teleport to them. You should not use that again unless you know you cannot get to them or you do not know how to get to them, or you actually just I don't know, just that's the only scenario I can really think of. And you mainly want to use this ability and come out of it relatively not far away, but a close distance away from the survivor, to the point where you don't go into your little end lag animation after you come out of it. So then you can run up on the survivor you're trying to sneak up on, and then um, surprise them. You mainly want to come towards the survivor if they're running. If they're not running, you just want to surprise them all by coming up a bit close and getting them all to scatter. Because when survivors are grouped up, the main thing you want to do is scatter them about. Because you, as 2011X, are not good in groups. You can get very easily overwhelmed by the group of survivors if they all have their cooldowns uh, not going on. So that's the basic thing I would say about this right here. And yeah, undocumented survivor. Yeah. Yeah, survivors can actually be survivors are highlighted to you whenever you're close to them. I forgot to mention that as well, but the wiki already kind of mentioned it for me. Your charge is your main way of getting to people that are in the air or people that are on high places and hard to reach places. And your charge, whenever you hit somebody, you'll grab them and start doing damage. And the player that gets grabbed by it will have to do a little mini game to try and get out of your grip. And if they do get out of your grip, they'll run away, stun you for a second, and then you'll have to run back after them or find someone else to get with. The problem is with this, if there is another survivor around, they can stun you out of your charge and free that survivor that you've grabbed and reset your progress. And that's really about it. You don't really want to use this to catch people. You do fly very quickly, but the caveat is if you do get caught, uh, like using this, if you do get caught using this either with Knuckles' counter or with Eggman's shield, you you really have to dodge that and find someone else to grab. If you do hit them whenever they have this stuff up, they will hit you because this can trigger those two events to work. So I would be very careful with that. But other than that, there's not much else to use to this. You can finish off survivors. Let me see if it actually talks about it. It doesn't, but okay. So, oh, there we go. Yeah. If the survivor's ever at 15 or less HP during the minigame, they'll be downed or killed. So you mainly want to use your charge to finish off survivors that cannot fly or cannot get away from you in midair. Like Cream, you can take out very easily. Knuckles, without his cooldowns, you can take out. Tails, you can take out. And yeah, then you have God's Trickery. This move is mainly useful in solo lobbies or very not solo lobbies. I guess kinda noob lobbies. There we go. That's a better way of saying it. Lobbies of people who don't know what this move does. This move does a lot of good for you, but the main issue is with this ability. If you number one, you cannot pick who you teleport to with God's Trickery. Let's put it like that. And number two is if your survivors know what this move does and what each color of these what each one of these colors correlates to, this move just kind of exposes you very, very easily, and that's really all it does. But this basically will teleport you to a random survivor and try to hit them. Whenever you glow orange, the survivor must be moving or else they take damage. When it's blue, they must stop moving completely, and if it's black, they have to jump. And if you hit the survivor with this, if you hit the survivor with this successfully, their controls get inverted and their screen gets kind of distorted, which is good for you. But obviously, if you do hit somebody and they know it's the real you, like a Knuckles or an Eggman, guess what? They can pop their stun, not their stun, their counters, and there's not really much you can do about it. Yeah, again, using this in a normal, if you normally do, uh, if you normally play against people that are a lot, like really beginners, this is really good. But if you play against a lobby that knows what they're doing and what this actually does, this move is borderline useless. The only time you would really use this move is if it's in a 1v2 scenario where you're just picking who to go against, because there's not really any risk in going against either of those players because you need to kill one of them anyway. It'd just be a debate on your preference on what last man standing you want to go into. But if you do know that your lobby is good at the game, God's Trickery is a very, very difficult move to use. So I would avoid it if you know that's the case. And then obviously there is Rage Mode. Rage Mode is basically your I'm really tired of getting stunned and stun locked. I'm going to make y'all suffer for it. So whenever his temper bar is full, you can press. It says X at any time to become enraged. Just you can press a button. You can press the button to turn Rage Mode, and then go basically nuts on all the survivors. Whenever you power up into Rage Mode, you get super fast. You pause the timer for 1 minute and 30 seconds. You do 50 damage instead of 42. You can jump a bit higher. I'm pretty sure. I don't actually know. But on the caveat, God's Trickery is disabled. Your invisibility will instead briefly highlight all survivors while making you unable to run. And honestly, it will basically force survivors to spread out, because if you do actually come into a group of survivors and they try to stun you, stuns actually go way down. Like the stun timer for you is way less because of the fact that you're in rage mode. So stuns are actually worse to go for while you're enraged. So if you see someone try to stun you, be sure to punish that because there's not much they can do once their stun is gone. They don't have a way to get away from you, as you're actually fast enough to keep up with a lot of people's dash abilities. But the only caveat is you cannot go invisible, you cannot use God's Trickery, but you can charge. And when you charge, you do more damage, and obviously, yeah, you do more damage, and obviously, with more damage, you're way faster in killing people instantly with your charge. So that is very good. Rage mode will last a minute and 30 seconds. Whenever that turns off, the timer will resume, and you will return to normal. And you cannot use rage mode more than once in a game. And you primarily want to use your rage mode if there's a large group of survivors, and that will split them up and allow you to pick them off one by one, because again, they split up. And if they do decide to stay together, your 50 damage hits will very, very quickly ward them off. It is not very common for someone to want to stick around after they get hit with that. So, um, another thing to add, if rage mode only has, not rage mode, if you're in rage mode and you're only facing one survivor or you get to the last survivor, after a few seconds it will just turn off because it'll initiate last man standing. And that does not, my bad, it does not mean that you can restart and, oh yeah, you can get another rage mode by getting stunned by that survivor. Not only, number one, would that be highly unlikely, but number two, you straight up can't. You cannot use rage mode in any capacity whenever it is last man standing. So, that is 2011X. If you wanted a basic summary, invisibility is used for your mobility and finding survivors. God's Trickery is used on used on a lot of beginner lobbies, or you mainly want to use them. You mainly want to use that move for lobbies that are very small as well. Maybe like a 1v2 scenario, 1v3 scenario wouldn't be that bad. And it can also get you countered very easily by Knuckles and Eggman, so be careful for that. And your charge is your main way of actually getting to survivors that are away from you or finishing off survivors that have very low HP. And rage mode should be used whenever you find a large group of survivors and want to split them up. Or not really want to, you just kind of do. Um, if you see that happen, then you definitely want to do that. You definitely want to try and get them split up so you can also do your 50 damage and also get some kills. So that is good. All right, that should be everybody in the game. If you guys like this video and like this kind of content, be sure to like, subscribe. Maybe leave a comment down below if I did good, if there's things I missed, if there's some mistakes that I made, make sure to correct me. I'll actually definitely like those comments. I do like learning more about this game as it grows. But other than that, that is the guide. I hope this helps some of you in your journey to become much better at the game. Maybe this encourages you. Maybe this encourages you to play X. Maybe this encourages you to play a certain survivor more. This game is growing at a very rapid pace, and it is very easy to really get stuck in one thing and just stick to that the whole time. But if you do play the entire game for what it is very fun, it's very good, and major shout outs to the people who worked on this. Like, oh my god, this game is super, super fun. It's super well detailed. I love it. But obviously, if you guys don't play the entire game, well, you're not going to be able to enjoy all of that game that the devs put all this work and time into. So, once again, big shout out to everybody that worked on this, everybody that plays it, everybody that loves to play it and really enjoys it. I hope this really was helpful, but if you guys want to see more of this kind of stuff, make sure to leave a comment and subscribe. Again, whenever 0.2 drops and I really play that, I'll make another version of this long form guide to playing each survivor. And yeah, that'll be the basic ending to that. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.